33, are you familiar with the work of Helena Blavatsky, and what is your view of the Theosophical Society? I have no view of the Theosophical Society. I've never read anything by Helena Blavatsky. There's some weird people out there that have been making associations of the movement and the Venus Project of the Theosophical Society, and they're making fictional associations, which I find amusing. I think it sparked from my use of Jiddu Krishnamurti, which I don't know if you guys know. He was adopted by this strange organization, and he was raised as this weird world leader for the Theosophical Society. He disliked it as he got older, and he disbanded. And he wrote some beautiful philosophical works that have nothing to do with the central tenets. Well, excuse me, have nothing to do with anything but his own ideas. Because I really have no idea what the Theosophical Society is. So anyway, this is a strange thing that's been developed. I'm not sure what you're asking me. If you're relating to the conspiracy notion that's been developed, please, everyone, just ignore that stuff. It's just really annoying.
As you may have guessed by now, Jordan Maxwell is not this man's real name, and I don't have any kind of problem with that. Using a pseudonym is a perfectly reasonable and understandable practice. But there is something a little fishy with the name that Jordan Maxwell chose. Here's why. In Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky's book, Isis Unveiled, Volume 2, Theology, she tells us what her version of the Nazarene Trinity is. And she tells us that the second in the Trinity is Jordanus Maximus. It is said that Jordanus Maximus, the water of life, he is the one through whom we alone can be saved. Now, on Jordan Maxwell's website, there's a section where it just lists a bunch of words that Jordan Maxwell is encouraging people to just do their homework on. Apparently because he's just so good with words. And one of those words is Jordanus Maximus, and it has some question marks to the side of it. And then it's the only word that has a little addendum to the right. That addendum says, this term was brought to Jordan's attention in an email he received from a rabbi. We thought we'd just throw this one in. This clearly implies that Jordan is claiming not to have any knowledge of the term Jordanus Maximus, at least up until he could get emails from rabbis. And considering emails are pretty late and his career has been pretty long, this is saying that he had no idea up until pretty recently of this term Jordanus Maximus. Now again, this term comes from Madame Blavatsky's book, Isis Unveiled, Volume 2, Theology. So keep that in mind as we listen to this next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, have you ever heard or read Mrs. Blavatsky? She's...
Helena Petrovna Blavatsky?
Right.
Yes. Yes, I have all of her works.
You have?
Yes.
Well, that's why... Yes.
I think her best work was Isis Unveiled, Part 2, which is theology.
Right.
And that was an exceptional work. I think that Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the Russian mystic, was a very wise and perceptive lady, and she had some very profound knowledge, obviously, and her academic achievements were extraordinary, and so I have a very high respect for the work of Helena Blavatsky.
So are we really to believe that Jordan Maxwell had no previous knowledge of the term Jordanus Maximus, the second in the Trinity of Helena Blavatsky, in her book Isis Unveiled, Volume 2, Theology, which he clearly says is his favorite book? This man, claiming to be a great wordsmith, didn't know that until he got an email from a rabbi? Something doesn't add up.
Number 33. 33, are you familiar with the work of Helena Blavatsky, and what is your view of the Theosophical Society? I have no view of this Theosophical Society. I've never read anything by Helena Blavatsky. There's some weird people out there. Number 33, are you familiar with the work of Helena Blavatsky, and what is your view of the Theosophical Society? I have no view of this Theosophical Society. I've never read anything by Helena Blavatsky. There's some weird people out there that have been making associations of the movement and I have no view of this Theosophical Society. I've never read anything by Helena Blavatsky. There's some weird people out there that have been making associations of the movement and the Venus Project with Theosophical Society, and they're making fictional.
The occultist and antiquarian, Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, in her Secret Doctrine, Volume 3, writes, "Under the evil insinuations of their demon, Thevetat, the Atlantis race became a nation of evil magicians. The giants and magicians and all flesh died, and every man." In the Bible, the earth was utterly broken down, moved exceedingly. I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So, we see that the variable that postponed the outcome.
So anyway, he played a key role in Reverend Paul Solomon's Fellowship of the Inner Light, one of the first true American mystery schools. He now heads at the Foundation of Los Angeles. Michael was born and raised in Ireland and grew up learning metaphysics from Krishnamurti, Reverend Paul Solomon, and Peter Ballin. Okay, so these are people that were training him from a very early age, from Paul Solomon, the guy who the mystery school, first American mystery school guy.